Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the member show.
Hola, boa noite, Munson here not with the Good Morning Portugal show live stream and podcast, but our special once a month show where we help you get your own channel started. So if that's of interest to you, stick around and ask any questions you have in the chat. And is it happening in? No, Bob, just so you know, it's confusing, isn't it? All these things we do as part of the Portugal Club. Let me go through them. First Monday of the month, we have a wine club. Second Monday is this, which is a live stream at 8 o'clock or just after, as it turns out tonight, and then a private session. So members of the Portugal Club, it's one of the perks, one of the benefits of being part of the gmpvip.com community. Sign up over there and you get preferential treatment, and you'll be able to join us for our meeting at around 8:30. So in about 25 minutes, we'll have a little bit of a lock-in together. Bob, I know, has started a YouTube channel, and that's where a few of us will gather and hang out and share notes. We've also got a WhatsApp group for digital creators. So if you're interested in that, join us. We'll sign up for the Portugal Club and then join us at 8:30 in a private session, and I'll send you the link. Just WhatsApp me up. Is that how you say it? WhatsApp me up on 913-590-303, and I'll send you the link for that. On the third Monday of the month, we have our mastermind group, and that's for the heavy-hitting supporters who shape the future of the Portugal Club. We have a little bit of a guest speaker. We've got a great speaker, Gary Coulton, joining us next Monday evening at 8. We'll have a live session with him online, and then we'll have a mastermind group private session at 8:30 where we'll be hanging out with Gary. And I'm starting a new podcast with him. He's an amazing guy, is Gary. He has written a book, and it's all about him coming to terms with his neurodivergence. We're starting the Positive Echo podcast together, and that will be coming out very soon too. And he's written the most amazing book. I think he's written a number of books. There is a particular book called Demons to Champions, and I think that's how I fell in love with my neurodivergent self. So we'll be talking to Gary next week at 8 o'clock in this slot. And then on the fourth Monday of every month, it's Wine and Wine, which is like our support group, which is made all that much better with the help of Portuguese wine. So people comparing notes, helping each other move to Portugal and live in Portugal, having a bit of a whinge and a moan, but also having a bit of a drink and a bit of fun as well. And I think Jackie, I don't know where Jackie is this evening, but she found that especially useful. So I'll see you. I'm going to go through a question I've got and get up to date with where Michael Heron is at. We did our first joint venture broadcast last Friday, which happens on the first Friday of the month at 9 o'clock, when the Good Morning Portugal show would normally end. And the Good Morning Portugal show, incidentally, is 5 years old today. Where it would normally end at 9 in the morning, we carry on and we go Iberian. We come out as Iberian, and Michael did well and truly last Friday, and we do our Good Morning Portugal, Good Morning España double bubble broadcast from 9 to 9:30, or for as long as the going is good. And we hope people will join us and call in as we have a little bit of fun finding out which is better, Portugal or Spain. Or if you don't want to go all polarized on that and get into the cancel culture and start calling each other names, you could be Iberian and enjoy being Iberian. So that's what we're doing. We're helping Michael get his channel sorted out, and he's got a question for me, which I'll go through in just a moment. Be here or be nowhere, says T-Duck. Lovely to have you back on the screen, T-Duck. Fantastic stuff. And thank you for your thumb. Already hitting that like button is Fiona and Simon Wright. That'll be Simon, I suspect, with us this evening. It's always happening here. Coach Turner, there's another benefit in the Portugal Club, the growing old disgracefully, the God Squad health and fitness program as well with Coach Turner. Thank you for your most recent video. That will be up on our YouTube channel soon, Coach Turner. You're right. It's always happening here, and there is so much going on. So let's go to that question from Michael Heron, and I'll do my best to answer this. He can't be with us live this evening, but he pretty much says all he needs to say on this video that he sent me earlier on today.
Hi, Carl. Hope you're doing well. So everything with GMP is going really well. Thank you, mate, and thank you so much for your support and everything you've been doing to help me. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough today, so I'm not going to talk for very long, but I just wanted to let you know that it's been going extremely well. Slowly, step by step. I'm over 30 subscribers now. I've done a few videos, had a few views, which has been good. So I have a few questions. My first one is, can you show me and show us how to use StreamYard? That'd be the first question. Second question would be more ideas for content that you think will work. Third question would be how to structure a live show. Fourth question would be how you go about selecting guests. Oh, sorry, cough is terrible. I'll say that again, you can edit it. How you go about selecting guests. And lastly, anything that you think is important for me to know that I haven't asked. Thank you so much, mate. Mwah, big kiss. Love you lots. Ciao, ciao.
Get away with you, Michael Heron over there in Spain. He's gone all Spanish kissing me like that, I think. We're a bit more reserved on this side of the rivers and mountains. Right. Bad marriages, bad winds, and blokes trying to kiss you. And that's all you get from Spain. Right. Those questions were how to use StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that I'm using now. How to... Oh, what was that? What was that second question? The third was how to structure a live show. Oh, ideas for creating content was number 2, wasn't it? And 4, how to get guests for your show. And then 5, is there anything that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you? We might get round to that, but let me just do those one at a time. I'm using StreamYard right now. If you want to try it, you can do so. I think in the sleeve notes for this, you'll see a link. And you can set up a free account and you can get started with it. And that would be my advice. How to use StreamYard is to use StreamYard. And people are different, aren't they? People learn in different ways. People progress in different ways. But I'm all for downloading, opening an account, getting a StreamYard account and giving it a go. And the great thing about StreamYard is that you can set it to private. If you've got a YouTube channel, you can set it to private. It doesn't have to be live to the world. I think it's quite good practice to be live to yourself, if you like, and make the recording and do it as if people are watching. And I think that is the best way. It's like getting in the ring and getting a bloody nose. I personally wouldn't recommend watching loads of videos about it, getting really confused, delaying execution, as it were, which makes it sound rather ominous, doesn't it? But just crack on, get on with it. Do it now. I mean, I wouldn't be offended if you went and downloaded StreamYard now, or got yourself a free account with StreamYard now and practiced and just got on with it and did it. That is my first and foremost piece of advice, I think, generally speaking, when it comes to starting a channel, starting a live stream, starting a podcast, is get on with it. And Michael has thanked me for this. He's thanked me for suggesting he just crack on, do it, and learn by doing, because you don't really learn you can learn technicals, and you can get ideas, and you can give yourself a sense of confidence and security by researching something, can't you? But you don't really learn anything without actually doing it. So I would suggest doing it. If you want to join our digital creators group, if you're part of the Portugal Club and you want to record something and you want to send it to me for feedback, I'd be happy to take a look at it. But crack on, get on with it. Press the record button, press the go live button, have a go. Even if you stream it to yourself and simulate being live, that is how I would suggest getting good at StreamYard. And it does seem quite the learning curve and quite complicated, and it is. But however, I would say they struck a pretty good balance, and you will learn by doing it and by pressing all the buttons, seeing what happens. And let's face it, you are only recording a live stream. You're not flying an airplane full of people. You're not performing brain surgery on somebody who's terribly ill. This is only live streaming. Nothing terrible is going to happen. Well, I'm assuming so, unless you are actually flying a plane or doing brain surgery at the same time as you're trying to live stream. But you get my point. It's, what's the worst thing that can happen? It might not be as good as you would like it to be. It's probably the worst thing that's going to happen. And the only way you're going to get better is by rinsing and repeating and keeping going and learning and not giving yourself too much of a hard time. So go for it with StreamYard. Keep going. There are other platforms available. There's Restream. Every time I mention StreamYard, Restream's adverts seem to pop up on my social media. There are other methods of doing it. You can go live direct on YouTube as well. You don't even have to use a particular kind of software. If you want to keep it simple, just go live on your YouTube channel, or just go live into your video camera and record something and then top and tail it in post-production. You don't have to. Well, maybe this is what I would suggest. If you feel like it's getting complicated, and you know from your own experience of yourself that you're making excuses, oh, it's getting too complicated, I need to learn a bit more. If you know that you're delaying yourself and putting yourself off and undermining yourself, stop it. Crack on, find the simplest way of creating some product and go ahead and do it, and keep moving. Right, content. Good ideas for content. We have talked about this, Michael, already, and there was some great advice from Tony the Portugueser. He is a prolific YouTuber, a Portugal influencer, we might call him. And congratulations, Tony, on running your first, and you're successful, just over an hour and a half, running a 10K. You can expect a video about that. As Mrs. M says to me, it's all content. The electricity went off on Saturday afternoon, just gone. And one of the things she said to me, as well as have you paid the bill, was it's all content. I didn't see the funny side at the time, but it's all content. And if you can have something happen to you and talk about it in a way that you might be that might be useful and interesting to other people, there it is. There's your content. Talk about what you love. That's even better. Talk about what you can be passionate about. Again, don't make it difficult or too awkward for yourself and build in a delay, or I need to research that. Talk about something you love, because it'll probably be easy to do so, notwithstanding, you know, some of the teething problems and confidence issues that you might face, but crack on anyway. Preferably do something you're passionate about. It will be easier to speak about it. And as Tony said, you know, the 5 things I struggle with Portugal, he's just released. The 5 things part 2 I struggle with Portugal, he's just released. 5 things I'd like, 5 things I don't like. Let's face it, clickbait works better with the 5 things you don't like. So in the case of Michael Heron, the things that make living in Madrid difficult. You know, the 5 hardest things to come to terms with in Madrid. YouTube likes those clickbaity things. And it depends, that great Portuguese answer. Are you looking for numbers? Are you looking for monetization? Or do you just want to have fun making videos? That will affect what you talk about and what themes and content you choose. We'll come back to structure on a live show in just a moment. Everything is content. Yes, there you go, as the Portuguese are saying. If you want to join me on the screen, Tony, you know you can ask, and I'll send you the link. 8:30 is when we'll be behind closed doors to talk about it off screen. And delaying, there you go, podcrastination. When I used to talk a lot about podcasting, yes, there is the podcrastination, isn't there? There is the procrastination. Great to know about the private setting. You don't have to do it live. You don't have to bare your soul. Again, nothing that bad is going to happen, and it's all content again, isn't it? Making an embarrassing video, funnily enough, is content, isn't it? It's content in the first instance, and then what happened to you in that process is also content. Darn, I thought this was Brain Surgery 101. That's next week. T-Duck, tune in. That we are hoping to introduce that into the Portugal Club, of course. JMC, boa noite, rapaziada. Good evening to you, JMC, boa noite to you. It's moving from the live recording to the editing that keeps hanging me up. No fault but my own. Yeah, editing, I think, can be a delay as well, can't it? I'm not putting that out until I'm happy with the edit. That is the death of much footage, isn't it? And good intentions. So again, the great thing about live streaming from your YouTube app, or just recording a video and doing it live, and maybe giving it enough thought to say, okay, I'm going to start, I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to finish in such a way that I can just upload that video and be done with it. You will be so much more productive. Portugueser, oh, let me on, he says. Okay, all right, let me just send you the link for that. I'm going to send Mr. Tony, look at your messenger. I'm sending you the link now. He wants to join me. He'll probably join us for the lock-in as well, because he is a very useful fella in this regard. There you go, Tony. I've sent it to you on Messenger, I believe. Everything is content, absolutely. 5 types of people you'll meet in Spain. Very good. Post-production is tough. The best, just do it live and let it go. Absolutely, T-Duck. What's your experience of that? The geezer says is utter old chap, past the breath. And here he is to defend himself. Is that all you say? It's utter BS. Oh,
Why am I getting a nicker?
you've got a tab open. You're watching me as well.
I'm watching you. Yeah. Hey,
drop a tab.
No, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not here to defend myself. I agree.
Okay, it's all content. Going live hasn't worked for me. Oh, a crisis there. Going live hasn't worked for me. Only 21 subscribers. Need 50 to go live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to know the thing? Oh, you can't go live. Okay. Well, can I tell you something I've gotten really used to doing, and it gets easier. The first thing is when you've got 21 subscribers, that's a good opportunity to make some really bad content, right? No, do you know what I mean? That's where you can make some really bad content. But also when you know your subscribers quite, because I quite often I'll get on I've seen you do this as well. You get on the live stream, you say, "Hey guys, how's my audio?" You know, and or you can apologize and you can say, "Oh God, the bloody dogs are barking," or whatever. And when you got that kind of relationship, because I really do believe that it's all about building relationships, isn't it? It's about building relationships with your subscribers and people who view your videos. That's what they want. And something I found recently is that people are enjoying my content where I'm literally I'll be walking along or something, and I'll just have an idea come into my head, and I just put the camera on, and I just start talking about whatever's on my mind, completely unplanned. I'm saying things in the video like, "Oh, I can't even remember the guy's name." You know what I mean? That guy who's the leader of, you know, he was the PM of Denmark. I can't remember his name now or whatever. And I say this stuff in my videos, and it doesn't matter because what you got to do is you got to have the confidence to realize that there is an audience for your content, and YouTube wants to find it because they want to make money. There are people, let's be cynical about it, but there are people who enjoy listening to the rubbish that you say, you know? So, what they want is for you to be yourself. So one big complaint I've had on my channel from regular subscribers is every now and again I've written a script, and I don't do scripts anymore because people don't like it.
Oh, that's
people
good
don't like
know.
it.
That's good to know.
Yeah, they want to hear me just waffle. And so what I do,
they get used to that, don't they? That's a very interesting point. If I could just pick up on that, Tony, because you call it waffle, and what's happening, I think, is people become familiar with you, and the people who like you become more familiar with you, and it becomes less a matter of what you're saying, where you're saying it, and what you're talking about, and more a matter of familiarity in the way that when we were growing up, radio. A voice on the radio has a kind of anchoring effect, doesn't it? If you like it. So if you don't like it, why would you be there? If you do like it, it's just like a pair of slippers. If I can, you know, once you're streaming a lot and you're familiar to people and you're there every day, and I dare say the Good Morning Portugal show is a bit like this for some people, it's familiar. And the content and the quality and all those technical things that we worry about in many ways become secondary to the familiarity. And I think you've created a familiarity, haven't you? But by regular broadcasting and streaming. Yeah.
And this when I think about some channel, like I watch quite a mix of channels, and some of them are very slick and there's a lot of editing, but there's a few that I end up following who are very similar to me, I suppose, in a way. They're not like professional or anything. There's one guy I watch called see, I can't even remember his name. That's the funny thing, but I feel like I know this guy very well. And he's just in his car, and he just talks about how he's in his 50s, and he's and you know,
Polish guy.
No, he's not. This guy's an English guy. I wish I could find him now.
Does he work at Amazon, the Amazon warehouse?
No,
I've got a similar one. I've got a similar one, and I liked what he said the first time I watched him, and then I'm thinking, you know, I can't remember what he said. Oh, this is the truth, isn't it? People won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. That's what.
Yeah.
And if the thing is, if you don't get on and live stream, they're not going to know. They're not going to get an experience of you and remember how they feel. So it's like it's academic, isn't it? If you don't get on there and make yourself familiar with people, they can't get familiar with you. And I think this familiarity thing is a massive part of live streaming and building an audience, whether it be a podcast or whether it be a live stream or a YouTube channel.
There's
a warning to you. You've got seeding over your left shoulder.
I
Bob
have,
and
yeah.
Viv, I like your picture within picture talks. Tony, what? How do you do that?
Well, this is one problem that you can come across when you start YouTubing is gas. You'll get gas, which is gear acquisition syndrome.
Yes.
So
bad gas sometimes, right?
Yeah, it can be a real problem. But I did start hitting. So, for example, I'm normally pretty tight with money, but I've got, like, for example, this what do you call it? Samsung Galaxy 9. It does actually shoot in 4K, but I just started hitting a wall with the storage space inside and the processor speed. So I ended up upgrading to this, which is the first flagship kind of phone I've ever bought. It was very expensive. But one feature it has is video in video. So when I'll be like just jogging.
So it's using front and back camera at the same time
simultaneously. So I'll just be jogging along and I'll just suddenly think, oh God, that really annoyed me. What am I talking about in my head? Why am I just talking to myself in my head? I could talk to, so
I didn't know how you did that. I thought you were using your kind of drone type camera for that, but that's all done on your phone, is it?
Yeah, I guess most new phones can do it. I don't know, but in particular, my phone does it.
I discovered I've got video stabilization on my phone after using it for 2 years.
Well, a lot of gear is like that as well. I mean, something I do agree with you when you were talking before, for example, about StreamYard, about using it.
Yeah.
But I was the same with StreamYard. It was like, oh, that's how you can, I'd used it for a while. Then I realized, that's how I can change the ticker, or that's how I can, as I used it, so.
Get on with it. Crack on.
Yeah,
okay. I need to crack on now with Michael's questions. We'll have a lock-in session at 8:30, so we've just got 5 more minutes to go on answering questions here. We'll get to the bottom of this, Bob and Viv. I've heard of this 50 threshold, but then T-Duck says, I've broadcast a live stream on YouTube and I have 22 or 23 subscribers. I don't know if you got in before a certain threshold, but let's get to the bottom of that and find out.
But you can go live without going live. That's what I'm trying to say, is you could just switch the video on and just talk unscripted as though you're live and then post it. Okay,
that's what I was suggesting as well, because you'll get the practice. And one of Michael's questions was how to structure a live show. I would say figure out your start strategy, like how you're going to say hello. Have a rough idea of what you're going to talk about, and don't stop, and have an exit strategy. It's very important to know how you're going to finish, so you don't have all of that, how do I turn this thing off, and the embarrassing end. So you might do as much as have a very quick intro, outro, and we can talk about that on another occasion, making those very easily in Canva. The other thing is, and we see this, don't we, with some of the most watched videos, some of the highest numbers don't really bother with production values, do they? John Campbell, hello and a very good afternoon and welcome to this talk. It's not even a talk, is it, really? It's just, but he said the same thing for the last 5 years, isn't he? And nobody cares. They're tuning in because they're familiar with him and they want to hear his content. So don't worry about it too much. But one way of overcoming that procrastination is like, okay, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to start. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to finish, and I'm not going to stop in the middle. So that might be one way of doing that, Michael. And guests, you don't have guests, do you, Tony? You don't tend to bother with guests in the same way that I do.
I don't. I mean, I keep planning to, but I think the problem is because I make so much content, I kind of don't have time. Because I'm quite. If I was less busy and I was more doing this as kind of more like a full-time gig, which is sort of what you're doing, I would have guests. But I don't have time because I've got too much other things going on. But I think having guests is a great idea.
Yes, and my way of doing it, you might have noticed if you've looked hard. I mean, Tony's one of my guests on the Good Morning Portugal show, and he is trained. Basically, I train my guests. I say to them, I reach out to them. I say, I really like what you do. Do you want to be on the show? And the ones who get on the show are the ones who say, yep, send me a link and I'll be there. The ones who don't get on the show are, can we practice this first? I'm not sure if I can do that date. Oh, I'm a bit nervous. I'm sorry, but I just don't have a lot of time to coach people who aren't very confident. And the ones who get on the show are the ones who are just like, yeah, okay, why not? And I send them a link. And then I say to them, if it works out well, would you like to do every second Tuesday of the month? And then we've got a schedule before we know it. And that's how, that's a shortcut to scheduling.
Just to say to people, people want you to, generally speaking, people want you to be successful, right? most people, the problem is the loudest people are the trolls.
Yeah.
But most people want you to be successful and they want you to do well, and they'll overlook it when you're making a few mistakes, or they can laugh with you.
Yes.
So, and those nerves can be endearing as well. Do you know what I mean?
They
I think,
absolutely
you know,
can.
I've seen people, YouTubers who are obviously not that comfortable in front of the camera, but they're also, I don't know, it's kind of, everybody loves an underdog, you know. So
yes,
I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Bob's got his own GPT name here. His AI is Aiden. I see what you did there. There are apps that I can download to do front and rear cameras on my iPhone 12. So there you go. You can do that, which is great.
If your phone's fast enough, you can do that.
T-Duck to the rescue. Click the create top right hand corner, go live is in the pull down. How about that? This is great. Thank you for that, T-Duck. And look, a new person, howtorepair.com. That's really smart. Make it easy for people to find you. That's exactly what How to Repair's done. I started going live from my shop in Faro, and we need to know who you are. We'd love to see these videos. Had to stop after a while, but now I've got Starlink, and it seems to be working great. That's another topic for another time, isn't it? How to get online and how to have reliable hotspots. And I'd love to talk to you about. Yes, let's talk with you, howtorepair.com. How many subs you got?
If you can tell me how to fix my the dryer part on my washer dryer, I'll be very, very happy.
We're laughing, aren't we? Okay, well, we'll leave it there. We're going to go into a private session and chat a bit more. Anybody who wants that, just drop me a line.
169,000 subscribers.
No way. What? Howtorepair.com? It's got 169,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
A legend.
We are in the presence of greatness.
Oh my God. Wow, howtorepair.com. Please come to our private meetup.
Yes.
913-590-303. We'd love to pick your brain.
Couple tryers.
Really?
Yeah.
You're getting ever closer to repairing your washing machine. This is not a setup. This is the real deal, isn't it?
This is really happening.
This is really happening right now. Okay. See you on the other side. Make a note of that number, 913-590-303, if you want the link to talk to us privately. Love to chat with you at howtorepair.com. Thank you for being here. Thanks for jumping on, Tony. See you in a moment.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full